Hi everyone, Pam from Med Spa Distributors here. Glad everybody's coming in to our peptide and protocols with Matus. Very excited to get this started. I know that some of you are familiar with Matus. I want you to know that Matus has been dedicated 40 plus years to mastering the art of aesthetics into her practice. She blends the best of science and technology into one ultimate anti-aging treatment. She was going to use gua sha. She's going to talk about fascia. She's going to tell and help to how to unlock tension in microcurrent. Looking forward for you all. I know you'll enjoy meeting her. Matus is going to, or has recently retired, and so she wants to share her wealth of information so that you all can take it into your practice. Without any more, I'm just going to turn it right into Matus can get started on her presentation. Thank you.
There, she's one of us, ladies. And she came to me and did a one-on-one. And here she is. Unfortunately, or not actually, unfortunately, bittersweet, but she's retired. But she was able to utilize the practice and be able to see that, yeah, now she's using it for herself. So that's a good thing, right?
I love how
Okay.
her eyes came out.
We've got another one. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love this lady. This lady right here. She has RA, so it's really, really, really hard to get her to. I was cautious. I was very, very cautious. With her medication, metaphor, whatever that medication is, and But she was very happy. But prior to coming to me, she really had to go she decided to go micro needling. And I could be wrong, but to me, this kind of hashtag wrinkles, and she has quite a bit of glycation also. I try to stay away from something that's a little bit more invasive. So I always feel like microcurrent is really my go-to treatment. And that's after about 3 or 4 treatments. Now, this is how I met Pam, really, 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 really. I was in the process. I own 2 Pro microcurrent, but I have so many people that's asking me what to use, but it's too much because it's the big microcurrent. Some of you guys have the most ultimate microcurrent in there. That's a really investment. But so I talked to Pam, and she happens to introduce the Gymnast. And so I used the Gymnast. It was so tiny. I wasn't doubtful, but it's like, okay, how fast do I get the result? Using the protocol that I did and the peptides, I'm really if there's such thing as a Victoria D N groupie gal, I'm one of them. So you can see 3 treatments with the petite. And next, and this lady right here, this lady, I just wanted to show really the progression of the picture. Later on, I wish I had put the neck. She had when she was about 72 in this picture, and she had liposuction in her neck. And you know what? I'm going to put that later post. If you are with Skin Chat with Matus, I'm going to make sure I'll put that post in her picture. So after a while, with the lymphatic, she just really she carried all that water. She has all this like kind of like spots of she hated her neck. And so that's how I met her. And then we proceed, of course, because of the I just don't do the neck treatment. When we did a neck treatment, and then it just move on and on and on. And now I think there's a drastic change there. Hydration is so important. She's a wine drinker. So I told her, keep your wine, but just make sure you hydrate.
You can definitely see it in her forehead for
Oh
sure.
yeah, yeah.
And just the
And
overall
that's
shape of the face too.
and that forehead of hers, if you notice, it's so hard. We call it parafunctional habit, which means, and that's something that you're gonna come to realize with your client when you meet them, is looking at their face, and it's, you ask that question to where, okay, you're gonna recognize their parafunctional habits. The number 11s. There is no way they have to do their homework, because our treatment is just for this week or for this 2 weeks or 3 or 4, however much they come in. But the in between, the older we get, the sooner it goes back, because that's their habits. And she's constantly, even on the, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 treatment, you can see she still have that, um the lines. But on the second treatment, she doesn't have it as much, because she was relaxed. So keep that in mind. Their habits makes a difference, and they're gonna come to you and it's like, well, I want more of this. And it's like, well, you can. It's not gonna be there right away, but it will happen.
I think one of the most noticeable differences is the lymphatic drainage under the eyes, how there's such a reduction in the fluid retention here.
Yes, because she's a wine drinker. And she, I mean, as we get older, our lymphatic system, which doesn't have a pump, it kind of like retains that fluid. And wherever our adipose tissue is more, you know, adamant, that's the more it stays. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad. I like getting results for them. And this is me. And we start on, this is one of my favorite quotes. All right, here we go. If we can post it, pause this one. This is what I call the prep. And I just wanted to share to you that this treatment, you can get it, one treatment, you can get the result, as we can see with the model right there that we had her, on the first part of this. But make sure you focus on the visible targeting, the main concern, because that's what they're going to look at. Okay. And then if we go for the series, it so happens to where, oh, you know what? Let them know, that there's a graduation part of it. And you guys, some of you that knows microcurrent, that it's not a one-time treatment. It's harder to see the result on someone that's younger. However, it's great to get them started with it. Most of my clients, I have a handful of like 45s, and up, and under 70s, 75. But my favorite really to see result are the, 65 and up that neglected their skin. So, and I really encourage them to let them know that, they'll get result, because of the fact that, let's even say neglecting their skin for 15 years, I can't give it to you in 6 treatments or in 12 treatments, but I do guarantee them that they are going to start looking at themselves in the mirror and like what they see. So when she came in, I assessed her skin. And let me see, she is, let me see, she's about 72. No, I'm so sorry. She's gonna smack me. She's 70. She's 70 now. And she's my yep, age 17. She's a twice cancer survivor. So her first cancer was in her 40s, and then the second one was 4 years ago. I prepped the skin with one of my really preference for exfoliation is either enzymes or microdermabrasion. Most of the time for when I do this protocol, I do microdermabrasion. Now I do adjust the suction, because the suction to me also serve as, it's like cupping, which is great to get that circulation going and all that stuff. But I'm just a little bit more careful with that. I prefer just removing that outer layer and focus on that. So then I apply the real simple, the Pepti Repair and the Pepti Eye Serum. And then I proceed on the using, I don't know, I'm sure some of you guys have used it, the low HA treatment serum by Victoria Deanne. Awesome. It's really cut down a lot of times with me, especially when I want to focus on something else and doing the layering. Her skin is really like crepey and it just has a lot of buildup of that stratum corneum right there. So after doing that, the micro channeling, I like to do the micro channeling with this type of skin in this age because the micro channeling takes us all the way to 4 to 6 weeks. It keeps giving. It's the gift that keeps on giving is what we call it. So, and then I do the LED light. Depending, I have the Saluma, but I just purchased one that I can adjust your time. And so sometimes depending on your skin, I like to do no less than 15 minutes. And then I use the cotton mask that I do the trace mineral and a magnesium myself, the flakes. Or I upgrade my client on a nano mask. Now, if I'm doing one treatment, automatically, nano mask, moisturize, sunscreen. And she's, like I said, the result is right here. And then we can pause. So you can see just how this is not microcurrent. This is only micro channeling with this modalities. And very simple HA serum.
And
So we go ahead.
Just because, and some may not be familiar with the Victoria Deanne HA, that they have a low, medium, and high. And
Correct.
so, like she said, she's using the HA, the low, during this part of her process. And so I just wanted to kind of let them know. And the Repair is another Victoria Deanne product
Yep.
that she was able to use to help with repairing, obviously, the skin. So
Yep.
back to you.
Yep.
Yeah. Before we
All
go,
right.
I want to just comment that I also love the molecular weight Victoria Deanne with micro
Yeah.
channeling and even with nano channeling too. It doesn't even have to be micro channeling. The
Right.
peptides themselves are so great that
Right.
I get micro channel results with nano channel devices. Isn't that cool?
Yes.
They're pretty awesome. Those
Yep.
peptides are awesome.
Yes, I love them. Like I say, I'm a groupie. But so let's start with muscles here. This one is concentrating on, let me say this right, aponeurosis and releasing that tension. So you can see visual here, the picture where it's at. And hopefully you will, and you should, you guys, you got this. We paused a little bit. Now,
Yep.
this whole video will focus on the top of the head, all right, to the occipital area, and to massage that. Because I don't know if you guys are aware, because I just found out about this a couple years ago, that the top of your head, the aponeurosis right there with the trapezius and the occipital area and behind the temporal area, when that's tight, you are not going to get 100% result of the lift that you want, because of the fact that muscle, the aponeurosis is a sheet of muscle. It is, that's connected to the bone. So you can imagine how tight that is. How can we move the muscle in the face when we cannot, when that's not relaxed? So we'll move on to playing this so you can see how it's done. See, I squeeze. So hopefully you like your client that will be gentle about it. But and if I feel it a little difficult, I remind myself, be kind, be nice. Yeah, this video is edited, so I think either faster or slower. So, and then I take that. There you go, the trapezius in the occipital area. I use the fascia massager. I get, like I say, I'm still working on that area of the head. And then I put a little bit of oil somewhere there, when I'm stopping on the hair. And they don't like it when their hair gets oily. It's like, well, do you want your wrinkles gone? Or, you can shampoo the hair. So I start massaging that occipital area. And sometimes you can feel it. When you feel that so tight, it's like knots, gently vibrating it, kneading it, just move it, just randomly I would ask them. And even at the beginning, I said, I want you to feel the stretch, but I don't want you to be in pain. Literally, this treatment is not your fufu facial or your relaxing facial, although they do relax.
I was gonna say she looks pretty relaxed, and
Oh
not
yeah,
any concerns about pain. She just seems like
yes,
she's really
yes,
enjoying
yeah. She actually had to tell me, because I would ask, it's the first time she has had it done, to where I told her, I said, how's that feel? She literally told me, she goes, promise I'll tell you if it hurts. Like, one way for me to say, hush.
Gosh, right, yeah.
Just let me enjoy it.
Look at that face. She's happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
But look how much of a lift you're getting to, just with your fingers, and you're getting to take.
Yeah. Everything, keep in mind, everything's got to go up. Okay. The only time we want to go down with our hands is if we're doing lymphatic drain, And when we even do that, we have to be making sure that what do you call this? Oh, here we go. I add, this is real quick, just oil and whatever you have, that will glide. Pam told me Victoria D and gel works really, really good. I haven't tried it yet, but
The collagen gel.
yep, yep. And that would be great if that works, because you have to do that. And then we're going into the fascia massage. This is a great tool. There's all kinds, but you have the gua sha that looks like kind of like a heart. But I like this, and I have one also that has a little bit of the little teeth in the little gua sha thing. I like that, because when you do this, you really want something that's, I guess the word is serrated, correct? The tip of it. So it really grabs, because we all know about fascia. It's a web, and when that binds together, you want to separate that. I'm sure everybody knows this. Also, just up and down, side by side, never circular. And this, between the fascia, this really also moves their lymph, also creates a channel that the circulation, that the lymph would move. I'm sure you guys have done this. And like I said, don't get intimidated about the steps, because we'll talk about that. This is her first treatment, prior to the microcurrent. So it's really important to address the muscle. This is the only way I got my result. I have done it.
Pink, it's okay.
Huh?
I said, and if she gets a little pink, it's okay.
Oh, definitely. You actually want her to be a little bit more pink. Anyway, so always anchor that muscle, anchor that skin in general. because you don't want that skin to be all over the place. We really, really don't. I'm just going to do half of this. I just did half of her face just to give you an idea. But just with the treatment from prior and here, I think you can see now that her skin is a little bit more taut. Is that a good word right there?
Mhm.
Just a little bit tighter, you know. And then with the fascia massage, it just gets it to another level. And then we start the massage. There we go. Now you see the pressure. This is not a very, very long pressure. I mean, but she does have a lot of laxity in her skin. So, and if you notice, I don't know about you guys, when I do, the first time I was introduced to microcurrent, I was told to go on the forehead. Now I find that our base is the platysma. And that platysma has got to be really in great shape before you can really work on the space when it comes to microcurrent. That's a big muscle right there. That muscle, when it tightens, it's going to pull everything. The SCM muscle, and it took me a while to say this, but so I'm going to say it because I deserve to say it, that sternocleidomastoid muscle is really important, because that muscle right there, when that's shortened, that pulls that face forward, the head forward, because that's connected to that bone and to the clavicle. So that will shorten. Could you imagine? Especially now, they call it the tech neck. And then when that happens, it pulls all that skin. Try working something that the muscle, the big muscle or something, and then you have to work on the little muscles in the face. It's not going to move. From 1 to 10, it'll give you a result of probably 3, 4, the max. But yeah, so work on that platysma. When you consult with them, look at, first thing you got to look at is that neck. There's some people that has told me that it's like, lower your expectation on the neck. And that was the key point for me, because logically thinking, what I little bit know about muscle, it's like, without that neck, how can I lift things?
We always start at the neck and make our way up.
Did you?
We do.
Yeah.
We always and we
Mhm.
start, again, it's something that we do. I don't say that everybody does this.
Mm-hmm.
Usually start on the side that looks lower.
Mm-hmm.
Actually have them help me kind of figure out which side is lower, so then they know it is. And then if I stop halfway in between,
Uh-huh.
then they know that that side was lower when we started, but now halfway they can see it's higher than the other side, and then we make the other side match to the side we just lifted.
Right.
So I find the side that's lower is always going to take a little bit longer to lift than the other
Yep.
side.
Yep. I either not the first treatment, if one side is lower, and sometimes you can see it on the brows too, I would normally go ahead and do the treatment on the side that's higher, and do that just in the normal range of the treatment, and then do the other side that's lower and spend more time in it. And as the treatment progresses, I actually will adjust the amp, to a higher one. And I have pictures of those, and I would tease my client that it's going to take extra cash to even it out.
I don't know.
I like to have fun.
Somebody did tell me one time they used to tell their clients that they weren't going to charge them for the first half, but the second half they charge them double. And she says, never had nobody not pay me.
Yeah. But again, I'm going to say moving upward motion. We are still in the massage stage, and I just wanted to show you some movement. But once you're doing it, you'll be really surprised how quick it really goes. This whole treatment for my practice, it started at 150. Oh my gosh, when I really got this one right here about 8 years ago. Now it's up to 25 per treatment. And that's the market in here where I'm at.
And I
So
was going to
that
say,
really,
you're in South Carolina.
right.
One from New York, they're getting
I know someone in New York that was getting yeah,
Yeah.
she was like, that's cheap, Matus. And I'm like, I'm in South Carolina, girl.
Yeah.
I'm not New York. I'm not Chicago. But one of the things that, we'll talk about it later, like I say, try not to get intimidated on the length of it, because this is only one protocol. This is it. This is for getting this result. But you've learned other things that some of you are seasoned esthetician. So it's combined. Go ahead.
In the chat, someone asked where you learned this technique. Was this taught or just pieced together by you? Is this a you created protocol massage?
I created its pieces. It's like
Okay.
I say, somebody told me that I can't deal, have my expectations in the neck, very low. One, and two, also just attending a lot of seminars. Oh, here we go. We'll talk about that later too. Bring that question again, because that's a good one. And everybody knows Guasha.
Okay. Yep. Oh, I love
everybody Guasha. Knows this, so really nice and quick. Now, with the other, from the fascia massage to the facial hand massage, you don't have to do this so much. Some people like to do it at the beginning. I like to do it depending actually on how much fluid when I see them when during the consultation, because I figured, hey, let me move everything, and then now I'm just guiding it, to get out of the face. And I'm just featuring my good old little sweetie here that I can travel with. And these are the product that I have used on her. If you can see, it's not so overwhelming, isn't it? And then we apply the conductivity gel. Remind me too on if somebody can, at the end of the Q&A, recommendations, okay, on the product, how I recommend it. Here we go. And I think you guys know this, like I say, the seasoned estheticians and everything, have known this. Now, I like to do this because of the current, as we all know, really helps to get that tension out of the neck area. And we go in the jawline. Just keep in mind that in microcurrent, if you're going to notice, for lifting, you really want to address the zygo, minor and major. Here we go. The oh my God, the LLS. All right, how do they pronounce this? I pronounce it two different ways. Somebody told me buccinators, so whichever you want to do it. And we're dealing with the master. So I'm just going to talk through it as you watch it, okay? In the platysma, and then the frontalis. Now, all this muscle plays a really, really good part in this whole microcurrent series. Even the oris really helps a lot. Without that, imagine working the zygos and, let me tell you, the upper muscle, the LLS muscle, the levator superior muscle, all that's underneath that shape, the zygomatic, and then the major and the minor. Now, don't forget about the rosaurus and all that from the eyes down, which is half of the face. It's so essential to really, really work that. There we go. I'm working on the masseter in there. You can go from the origin of the muscle to the insertion of the muscle, meet in the middle, and then, or you can go from the origin to the insertion and go all the way up and keep it there for a good, 3 seconds. The older they are, and I didn't do it with her, but I did, I would say I would keep it there no less than 10 seconds. Like it's because I want her to see the result, and all that muscle are really, really, if you notice on her before picture, they were atrophied. So
Matus, there's a little chatter in the chat about that the accessory you're using and versus wands and things like that. Is now a good time to mention that, or would you prefer to leave that till the end, talking about gloves versus wands versus rollers?
we'll do that at the end. We'll have plenty of time because we're almost
okay. Perfect.
Yeah, we're almost. I made sure when I did this video, this presentation in general, that I want to spend more time on the Q&A.
Okay.
Perfect. I know, talking to this ladies right here, I know for me, I need Q&A. I really do. Hands-on Q&A, I need all three of them. And I recommend also, if you have a microcurrent, follow your manufacturer's basic. This technique that I use is not a technique that's it's not the only technique. There's different ways. It's just, again, the machine is only as good as you are. That's it. That machine is just right there, So knowing that we need to do the other stuff before we get to the microcurrent, knowing that we need to relax the muscle, knowing that the aponeurosis, it plays an important part, knowing all that stuff really will make whatever machine you have right now work for you. So it's not like you got to go out there and buy the Gymnast. No, if you have it, use what you have. I would start off with, really, my suggestion would be doing the first part of this segment of the massage and all that, the fascia release and all that, and then using your manufacturer's guidelines. Only thing I highly recommend is, if they tell you to start in the forehead, start in the neck. That's the only difference that I would highly recommend, but that's up to you, your choice. You can do both, then you can see the difference on the result. Anyway, so and see how it is. It's really important to have your own case studies. I've done a lot of case studies to get all this result. And then also important part, I end up with a mask with a microcurrent. And here she is. If we can just pause this.
Got it.
Are we paused?
Yes.
This is her, ladies.
Ooh.
If you can see her, if you can see the look in her face when she saw herself. Oh, so like I said, this is the result. And I wish I could make that whole protocol shorter. I used to tell somebody when I share a little bit of this protocol, so you can imagine shorter version of that, and would tell me, it's like, that's just too long. And I used to say this, if you can figure out how to get this result in less than an hour, or even I'll give you an hour, please let me know. I will attend a class, but there's no other way. I tried. Now, with that said, the way from the first treatment, which is separate from here, because this result here is from I think it is from just microcurrent. So yes, it is from just microcurrent. So that because it's a 6 treatment or 5 treatment. It's a 6 treatment. So the first treatment was the prep, and then here's the microcurrent. The drastic change from the from her before picture to the microcurrent, and I wish I would have I would also put the one with the prep, and then it just kind of evolved. Now there's a little change in her second treatment, if you notice. because of water retention. You know, she had a few. She went out, had a really good time. She said so. The day after the treatment, you know how hard it is. I mean, she's 70 years old. Like I say, our lymphatic system do not have a pump. We have to pump it ourselves. But then it recovered. And that's when you can start seeing the result right there. And so you can, from the before to the first, I started lessening because I told her, if we want to do more microcurrent, you have to do A, B, and C, which is you need to drink lots of water. You need to do the only thing I ask her is actually do her fascia massage, which is I ask her to focus on the neck. I don't say the face because that's the first thing they're gonna do the face. No, I want you to focus on the neck, the trapezius, in your head. If you have time to do your face, go for it. But if not, don't worry about it. Because when she is ready to lay on my table again and those big muscles are taken care of, guess what?
You can work on this.
Yeah, you can work on it. So it's a teamwork and you have to tell them. And once you get into this routine, you're really you're going to be surprised. Do not, like I say, I'm not going to recommend. If you want to succeed and market this, you have to have B&A. That's it. That's the bottom line. Because no one can see this, especially the first, second treatment, by the naked eye. You can't. After the fifth and the sixth, yeah, but the final, of course. I mean, let's get on to the other part.
One quick little thing. B&A before and afters.
There we go. We're in the skin. We all know about the skin, but I don't want to waste any time on this part right here. But the side head photo is literally just to kind of give you an idea the importance of the procedure that we're doing. Look at that. The skin itself is only one layer. All right. And then let's go into the other part here I think in our view will be on the left side. You have two types of fascia. Keep that in mind. And then you have I think I got it. Epimysium.
Sounds good to me.
Yep, epimysium. It's the cover of the muscle. The epimysium is that covers all that muscle. So if you can imagine when we are doing that massage, the importance of it is by layer. So when you relax, when you take care of that skin, and that skin is all balanced and happy with moisture and everything, then you can go through the superficial fascia. Then that's happy. Then you can go into that deep fascia. Now you are the problem, not problem, but the direction of the epimysium, which is a connective tissue, but it's a very dense. It's, if you notice, it's what holds that muscle, that deep muscle. Okay, so the importance of that's when the stretching really and staying and pinching and all that stuff. Maybe someday I'll do a class on muscles. It's really important. So, and the difference between the superficial muscle of fascia and the deep fascia is the superficial fascia is it's a loose webbing. It's right in that skin. That's why it's really important that when you're massaging that, you're just going on top of it. And if you can see me, just kind of here, I've got a different one here, just gliding it. Glide and glide and glide. And then you get into the deeper fascia when that starts showing, and it will show, how you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel some little knots in it. Then you want to go just a tiny, not just kind of like put a little bit of pressure in it. Okay. Then once that's taken care of, okay, comes the epimysium. Okay, that one right there, it's almost like you're gonna be so surprised here because that's so important to really stretch and relax that for one reason and one reason only. That is what causes your number 11. This is what causes your horizontal lines. That's what causes all that deep, 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 deep wrinkles. So, all right, next. So that's the skin. I get so excited when I explain that. I'm sure everybody knows, especially the season one, but next one. There you go. There's the fascia layer. See the different kinds of fascia right there? I just want you guys to have a visual of it. So you can imagine if you are doing a hard pressure on the superficial fascia. It's strong. Fascia is strong. Next. We've talked about the upper neurosis, the importance of that. So next. Then let's go to the trapezius. I have just a little note. The importance of it is the neck and the shoulder tension. I never knew this, but it really affects the face because when you see where it's connected all the way, when that's tense, that's pulling the face, particularly the jaw, and then it also affects the platysma. So if we don't address the trapezius and you just address the platysma, you're really not gonna have the platysma cooperate with you, you know. So this is why muscle is important. The next one is the platysma. We know the importance of that. That's the frontal muscle right there, okay? And you can see I have been questioned with this lady on the left side. This lady, oh, bless her heart in a good way. Really, she is older. She's in her 70s, and she really hated her neck. We focused for the longest time in her neck. And this lady, I told her every time she bathes, you know, not shower, but she goes in a bathtub. We teach. We have to teach our client to get the result they want because we can't give it to them. We can help them get to where they want to be. So taking the time is really, really important. So she would do a fascia release until just get some warm washcloth and cool that off. Taught her a little bit of massage, did just a quick stretching, and then she did purchase. Of course, it wasn't a suggestion. If she wants to get that neck to work for her, taught her how to do that neck and also her trapezius. All right. And then this is all also important for the neck. You'll be surprised when you start doing this to your client. The next one. Look at the sternocleidomastoid. If you notice the picture with the platysma, the insertion and the origin is underneath. It is the origin is underneath the platysma muscle, and it's hard to get into. And that's why the technique of pulling from the center and out and massaging it and vibrating it is really, really important to get to it. Because the origin is hidden way underneath the platysma. So that's more the importance of really dealing with platysma. The lady in the right side, yeah, she exactly did the same thing. you know. If anyone has an RF machine, that's also one modality that I incorporate when I'm dealing with tight muscle. Depending upon their skin density, is the heat that I apply, you know. So we'll get to that probably in another class, in another protocol later. So that's very important also. Those are the big muscles that we're dealing with. Next. And that's just the whole gist of it, with the muscles in the face. That frontalis, important, nasalis, all of this you have to stretch, massage, whatever you want to call it. You know, I'm putting together a protocol on really each massaging each muscles. You know, more so on that, not microcurrent, because you can incorporate this particular thing that I'm working on in your microcurrent, because there's nothing else is gonna take your microcurrent to another level unless you work with the muscle and the fascia. Okay? All those muscles are connected. Then we all know about lymphatic drainage, so we don't really want to spend a lot of time, you know, where your lymph nodes are, your nodes are, you know, and everything, the direction it should be going. All right, this is very important right here. So if you can pause this. So the muscle of the head, all the way, just muscles in general, it just really lets you know that the expression. You see how when this muscle, when the muscle is not healthy, it's like an accordion. Now, the only way, try releasing that with just microcurrent. It can happen. I think it's great, but you know, how long do we think that a current can affect, you know, the face? I mean, we can only put too much current on their face without them either overly stimulated, you know. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you do the massage. All right.
We want to stimulate our ATP, but we don't want to overstimulate it. So that's why doing some of the facial massage and all of that with it is a great combination, because you know you're lengthening you're actually working it, and then you're stimulating it with the ATP with the microcurrent. It's all can work together. And like you said, there's a lot of different modalities that can be used and can't be used, just because of maybe whatever state you're in, the regulations is they
Right.
can't. In that case, then we can find some other modality that we can
Correct.
get around it.
Oh yeah, you can.
Different.
I've got, remind me about micro channeling if it's not modality in your because for a while here in South Carolina, we could not do micro channeling. We can only do nanu, and I had to find a way. And we can't do dermaplaning, so I had to find a way. It's learning your skin. It's learning your client's skin. You know, when somebody tells me I can't do it, I'm gonna spend time, if it's legal, to get it done. And here's something my father told me, and he passed on when I was, 25 years old. If God did not make it, you can make it. And I've seemed to have grasped that, So bottom line is, like I say, keep that thought about if you have any modalities that you cannot do. There's lots of, I'm not going to say it because I think it's offensive about the cat and skinning. Why say that? But there's different doors that you can enter that really can get the result that we all want.
So, Matus, if it's okay, I'll do some of these Q&As that they've written down, and then whoever wrote it, if you want to bring in more to the question at this point, Um, one of the questions is 72-year-old concerned about her neck. How many treatments over what period of time? What techniques did you use, and what Victoria DM products?
Okay. I can only speak for this client because this treatment is not in a box, So again, the consultation and everything. So with this client, I think I don't have my folder with me. The peptides, and with her, I really, like I say, address first. This she's 70, not 72. She's 70. She is talking about this, my client, not her client, right?
No, she's talking about your client.
Okay, so this client is 70. Basically, the peptides is, I wish I have it in here, but it's I put it on the for the treatment. I know for the treatment I use for the prep is only HA and eye serum and micro channeling. I know that's what I did on that one. And then to take home, I normally would not go past the lift kit. I won't. Now, one of the things that you have to determine is how reactive their face are, because some people cannot deal with the rejuvenator. We all know that. So, but I also send them samples, a good sample to last, and teach them how to do it for about a week or so. Because I'm the type of esthetician that I'm not going to sell you anything, and I don't want it. I don't do returns. So it's my responsibility to provide them the samples. And if it doesn't work, we'll figure something out, And then the treatment for this woman, like I say, it's what we have today. So the fascia release, the amount of time, this one in particular in here, I did her twice a week, because when we actually decided to do this presentation like before Christmas. And I couldn't start with her until January 6th because of Christmas and travels and stuff like that, and her schedule. So you can, depending on your client's budget and occasion, I've done client that's like, oh, I have a wedding in 3 months. Assessing her face, I go six treatment. We're gonna do that. I normally do once a week. But after doing it in a while, I pretty much have known it's like, oh, she's going to need 12. This is why it's an important thing for you guys on your own to learn anything. This is anything in life. It's your own experience, your own hands-on, because there's treatment that's in a box, like pills and stuff like that. But when it comes to individual person, especially with age management, just as well as acne, they're all different. My recommendation is do your own case study and make sure they give you the rights to their photos. It's not a boom. You will get the result. That's the only thing that I can guarantee you. You will get the result if you do this protocol. However, which client to do what, how many treatment, I can't answer that, because it's an individual custom. We're all made different, and we're all made in so many different issues. Some people, we just have to worry about their skin. I have a client that comes to me, I think she is one of the very first one. She had a little owie in her chin. She comes to me 3-4 times a year. She uses Victoria DM, and she got that result. I'm actually just gonna see her, I think, the end of this month again. So it really depends on your client, your relationship with them when it comes to anything that's costly to some people. To some people it's not, that it's not even sometimes the cost, it's the time. I have a client that she's one of them, this one particular, she doesn't have the time to come into this my studio to do this. So I told her, hey, your choices are A, B, C, which is, there's other treatments in there that gives her a quick result, but my result, you have to come in. And I have client that I sell the minis,
I would,
so it's really having a conversation with them on the result that you're going to get and how fast you're going to do it, that they're going to get it. But this one client in particular, she came in twice a week, and it was a total 6 treatments. So in 3 weeks. Does that answer your question?
I would also like to add to that too, Matus. You and I have talked extremely about how if they're not going to be compliant, which could be your C, if they're not compliant, then honestly, we're not going to take them on because they're not going to get the results that we want them to do.
Right.
So if they're not compliant to use the products that we want them to use,
can't get it. Can't guarantee the result. Let me just give you one hint also in here. Don't try to sell them the package. Just give them one treatment if they want an age management. I cannot tell you how to price it. I don't know what you're worth. And what do you call this? And you just gotta, give them the moment they see that will open up so much door. And the question you have to ask them is this: all right, if you want to get from A to B, this is what we're going to do. This package, whatever treatment, a series of 6. Okay. And then if not, we can do that, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, because you only need 24, 24 hours for the microcurrent. The massage, you can do that, like with this client that I just, my model right here, when we're into the 2nd or 3rd microcurrent, I am doing less and less massages on her, both fascia and hand massages. The reason why is because she's doing the fascia, and her muscles has already responded to the other treatment. So now I'm able to focus just on the zygomatic, you know what I mean, the lifting. Always, 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 always. I spend no less than, for both sides of the muscle with the microcurrent, I mean, give or take 10 minutes. But when you see that muscles to where it's already stretching nice, then you can do a little less. I wish I could, like I said, this is the problem with this treatment right here, is because it's not it's not in the box. It's really you using your common sense and your own natural instinct on knowing the skin. And now you got the muscle and the fascia now, and we'll go further with that education later on, or read about it. Just open up that mind into more, like you say, common sense.
Okay, next question.
Okay, thank you.
Could you or also do the LED before the microchanneling to activate the mitochondria? I think is that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But remember though, activating the ATP and the mitochondria, you know what I mean? I mean, peptides is right there, right along. That's why it's a great product. The peptides gives you the environment for the cells to be able to function well. So again, it's really up to you. Where do you think that client needs the most? Doing the fascia release will activate all of that. When circulation is going, it's pretty much, it's going to take care of itself. And then you have the peptides. 100% of me is peptides in my treatment room. That's what I use. I'm not and I've been doing it from and I've used other products right along with Victoria Deanne, and I just could not justify some other products. Now, what Victoria did, what's not available for Victoria Deanne, I have found, and Pam has helped me with it. And Pam carries a really good products. Then she, I get it from her. I need this, Pam. I need that, Pam, and it doesn't affect the result, or I can't say it. I was able to efficacy. It's efficacy of the peptide.
Yeah.
Yeah, efficacy of the peptides. So the peptides, what I've learned, is very friendly.
On one of the clients that you did, if you look in the chat, you'll be able to see the one she's talking about. But she says, "What did you use for this gal? How many treatments?" I can tell you, she has dark hair. She's got it's a side view of her. I don't know, Matus, if you can.
She older?
She
has hashtag.
She's the one that she's got definite lines around her eyes and her.
Oh yeah, she's the one who has rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I mentioned something about also using RF on her, just a very light heat, just to activate that. The treatments on her, I don't have it with me, but I know for a fact I use the RF on her, and I had to be very, very careful and ask her, because of her RF, ask for permission from her doctor.
Right.
Just because it was so tight. It was so tight, and like I said, it helped a lot, quite a bit, because she needed that thickness, the density of her skin. And if you notice all of our the picture of the side view of the skin there, the layers before you can get into the muscle. So I needed heat.
So now, instead of writing in the chat, I'm gonna let everybody, we'll try not to step on each other's toes when one's talking, but if you want to just unmute yourself and ask Matus directly. I went through the chat. I think I picked out most of them, but if I didn't find your question, please, and if I didn't mean to skip you, just kind of come
just
off.
ask. Yep.
No, right, exactly.
Can I see them?
The chats?
Gallery view.
Oh, the
people.
people.
There they are. Hi.
Hey, this is a big step for Matus to let everybody know that she can see everybody, because I told her just concentrate on me like we're having a chat.
Oh yeah, yeah. So anyway, Sherry, you asked the question. You don't have RF?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't have RF.
All right. So RF, the main purpose of RF is to produce the heat, correct? Now, there are some people that that has the same issue, real thick density in their skin. The best way to do it is really go deeper on the fascia, a lot more deeper, until they turn pink, because that will stimulate. It's going to go lower and lower. Can you micro channel?
Yes.
Then that also helps quite a bit, micro channeling, because I don't know about you guys. To me, I know I'm getting underneath that skin when that skin starts feeling warm.
And if you can't micro channel, you
can still nano.
You might be able to nano.
Yeah. Okay. If you can't, is that you, Nancy?
Nancy cannot micro channel.
Okay. Here you go. This is what I used to do before I could just nano. And I'm like, forget it. So can you dermaplane in Florida?
Yeah, we can, but I don't offer dermaplaning anymore.
Okay. Now I would get one of those. Do I have it here?
It almost looks like a razor.
Disposable.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
All right.
So instead of using a blade,
the tinkle
Tinkle.
I know
Let me
it's
check.
It's
I know.
really called that, the disposable
Yep.
ones, the plastic, and they come in all different color
Yep.
handles. And
Mhm. You,
Let me
and,
get
and
mine.
honestly, if you had your eyes closed, you wouldn't know the difference. But for, you know, those of us that don't want to use a blade, it's an option.
I don't. I'm not comfortable. I can do dermaplaning here in South Carolina. We would just approve of that in micro I just didn't want to. One more thing that's really good for stimulating it also is microdermabrasion, if you can. It's all
Okay.
about, I think I spoke in my interview about the evolution. We have three things we have to accomplish: exfoliate, nourish, and protect. And there are so many modalities to exfoliate. So many.
We use enzymes now.
I can't understand, sweetie.
Enzymes are great too. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
enzymes. We both love enzymes.
Oh yeah, yeah, I do. I like enzymes too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there you go. Ta-da!
Thank you. Yep.
It works.
And are we allowed to use these? Like, obviously my state is Colorado, and well, it's not obvious, but basically state by state, are we allowed to use these though in our work?
Do
Or
you
not?
can you
Not dermaplaning.
can you do microdermabrasion?
Yeah.
Then do microdermabrasion.
Well, but I don't have a microdermabrasion
Oh, you
machine.
don't? Then
No.
use, do you have, you gotta have, you know, like I said, you can have some enzymes too, but to me, I recommend if you're gonna do an enzyme, do an enzyme that's not fruity, that's not, it's plain old enzymes. I think, Pam, you guys have that?
We have
Just
several different types of
correct,
enzymes.
but nothing except for skin exfoliation, you know, not the passion fruit, not all, you know, just plain clean enzyme, you know.
It creates, the passion fruit creates the heat in the skin.
Pardon me?
The passion fruit creates heat in the skin, and I was
Correct.
told that would be a good one. Well, that is a good one to use prior to microcurrent.
I was gonna say, you know, we want the heat, and the passion fruit can cause heat also from the outside. We
Mhm,
want the heat to come in from the inside out.
mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what you want, so you can work in the outside, because once that, I mean, just think about it. Once that the enzymes or anything is coming from the out, another brand that has other ingredients in it except for exfoliation, you know, I just feel like it interferes. But then again, I could be wrong. I would try it if I were you, with someone you know, with that. I mean, there's no rules unless when it comes to stimulating the skin, unless it's too, you know, invasive. As long as that skin gets stimulated, the collagen's coming up to the rescue, you know? So
But to add to your question, can you use it in your state? You'd have to check. Every state
yeah,
has different
that too.
regulations. However,
Well,
I would just one per person,
Yeah.
disposal.
oh yeah.
That's
Disposable.
the
Yeah.
Disposable part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have little tiny thing, and I can't get it anymore. But it has individual blades, but I can't get it anymore. So
And then what about 11 lines? I have serious 11 lines. I don't like to wear my glasses.
there you
I
go.
see
You're pinching that
points
and
a lot.
everything.
No, it's
That's a habit. So when you
yeah.
pinch that, you can do all of this technique, all of that technique, but when you're sleeping, you're doing that.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, yeah. I guarantee you,
Oh,
you're doing that. And what happens is that as we get older, that deep muscle doesn't tone, is perfect for that. But even then, tape it. Have
I
you
was
heard
gonna
of
say
taping?
we have the silk skin pads, and that's what
Oh,
we use a lot. Is that we'll put the silk.
we have silkskin pads to tape on there, so that'll keep it from doing that, from squishing.
uh-huh. Well, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't
And
use regular
microcurrent.
Scotch tape, but
Mhm.
they do have like the kinetic tape that you could put some. There's like a whole facial
Yeah.
thing with that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
I just
how did you use the Alma? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely. Definitely. Let me get
that
the
and that gua sha tool, I like to use that. I haven't taken any classes on gua sha. I really want to. And I was wondering who you would suggest.
watch.
But I take that tool and I do this to help lengthen that muscle so it's not all bunched up, but it hasn't moved. I haven't been able
Now,
to it.
let me tell you something. That muscle right there, which is the psoas muscle that involves this, is connected to your frontalis. Okay. And so with that said, and then that's also connected, of course, to your eye muscle right there. So with that said, you can do this and that will just separate it and prep it, okay? Because that muscle is going that way. But you also got to go in an angular position.
Huh?
You see
Yeah,
it?
because it goes like a water fountain.
Correct. Correct. See
Mhm.
how red my that's how much circulation I have, because this is my girlfriend, you know. And so after you have done that, then you want to raise this up, and I use this end and I turn that way. And then I also take this finger right there and I stretch this right
Mm.
there. Can you
Mhm.
see it?
Mhm.
That's when you get the lift on your eye. I'm Filipino, so I like my eyes to go out. As I get older and I notice I have a lot of space in there, but I work on this, and you can sit next to on your chair. You cannot do enough of this in your cranial, this, all of that, not enough. You can sit. I have this all over my place, and if I get upset with my husband, it's also a tool. So, yeah.
Just kidding. No.
Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? So, do that, do this. Pretty soon it's going to engage and say, I'm out of here. It's
Mhm.
all,
Okay.
I don't know how old you are, but I have been
60,
doing, huh?
63.
Yeah. See, I'm 64. The day that I started focusing on my skin, and I'm no joke, is the day that I bent over and I could honestly say I saw my cheeks.
That's funny.
Yeah. And that's when I said, oh, I got to do something. And I wasn't an esthetician then. Do you remember Suzanne Summers' microcurrent?
No.
Oh,
Remember Suzanne Summers, though.
yeah. Yeah, she had a
Oh yeah,
microcurrent.
she was into microcurrent big time.
Hmm.
Stephanie, even at her age, they love to use the gua sha, don't you? That's like her thing. So
Yep. I have an assortment. I've got shaped like this, shaped like that,
Oh,
with the
uh-huh,
power cord, without a power cord. Like I have an
uh-huh. Like I
assortment,
said,
like the
I
Little
have the
Mermaid with all my
metal one.
trinkets.
I have this, and then I have 3 more kinds. So I know about shiny new toys.
Yeah, well, I've found, so you just have to find the right tool for each. I feel like it's like a treasure hunt to find the right one that fits your hand, that does the
Right.
right ergonomics and just the right designs.
I love the ones that you guys sent out, that you sent me one too, and thank you, because it's tinier than this and it works so much better.
Just
it's
get
I
to
easy,
like it.
it's easy to
Mhm.
hold. It's really easy to
Yeah.
do. And
Hold on a second. My
that's why
so
we thought
I can
since
hear
she
you
was
guys.
doing this, that some of the things that we know we love to use is that. And I like using the collagen gel from Victoria Deanne, and of course the Victoria Deanne samples. I don't use Rejuvenator during the treatment, and I always start them out to tell them to use it sparingly at the beginning, because they will get red, and some people feel it to be a little spicy. So that's why it's in different streaks. But the little hyaluronic and low, if you're doing microcurrent, is another good one too to use.
Um, how long roughly does the whole process take, or would you spend?
The whole process, the first one, not the prep. The first one, when you're dealing with the fascia massage and stuff like that, I would say about an hour and a half. And then the other 30 minutes, I would I would I book 2 hours. I don't like rushing because I would address anything that I can address that day. And that's also prepping, you know, for them to get ready, for them to do their you know, their products and all that stuff. So I always book 2 hours.
So the last half hour is
No, just
sorry.
no. It's normally once you get it all right, again, it just depends upon the client. I have some clients that I have done this. By the time they were on their sixth treatment, I'm doing it for an hour and 15 minutes because of the fact that, you know, their muscles are already, and I'm just focusing on 45 minutes of you know,
For the
microcurrent. Because this is for microcurrent. This is to get the maximum result with microcurrent. And what impedes the result from microcurrent is the fascia, and the muscle is not at all, you know, in good shape.
Okay, so
That's
the
really the
microcurrent,
general. Go ahead.
microcurrent, you spend what, 15 to 20 minutes?
Oh, no,
Just-
no. I normally do one side of the face. The minimum I would do, and I'll cut it to 5, 10, 15. So minimum is 30. Minimum. I normally go, depending upon their skin density, I normally go 5, 10, and 5. So 40 minutes is what I normally do with my client. I refuse to do less. Well, I shouldn't say that.
that's just microcurrent.
Yes.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's
So 40 minutes on
minutes.
each side.
Mhm. So that's
20
40
minutes?
minutes on each side.
20.
The 40 minutes, depending, 20 is the minimum per side.
Uh-huh.
Usually it's 30 to
No,
40.
15. Yeah, you can do, well, minimum is 15. A good one is 20 on each side. So that's 40.
Yeah.
Maximum I feel is an hour. I would not go over an hour. If I go over an hour, I would not even, I just do literally 5 minutes on each side because that I've had a client scared the crap out of me. She had no blood coming out, but she had redness, you know, like almost blood. It was overly stimulated, you know. So I normally, if I'm going to go 30 minutes, I'm spending 10, 20 to 25 in here, depending upon their atrophy, and then 5 in here. But I hardly go 30 minutes on each side. I do literally, because of the other protocol, I do 20, 20 or 15, 15.
Yeah, I'm usually 20, 20.
Mhm.
And you do have to go slow. It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
and you
Mhm.
have to get to that lift point, and it's a holding point. And you can't just like rush through it because really you're just doing more product penetration if you're only spending 10.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You're
not-
just, especially when you're doing facelift, you got to know where your insertion and your origin of the muscle. You got to. That's all there is to it. You miss that, it's gone. I miss it all the time. That's why I still have issues with it, but I'm okay. I can live with it.
And yes, we can do it on ourselves, but just like every esthetician that's probably here, we'd spend more time on other people than we do ourselves a lot of times, even
Mhm.
though we know we should.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, the nice thing about microcurrent and the peptides, I can honestly tell you, is that it picks it up right away. You know, I've missed microcurrent for 4 or 5 months. And the moment I go, now I'm very, what do you call this? Religious about my peptides. And so that's part of the secret of it too, or the effects of it, is because my skin is in really, really good shape. Okay. Because I don't have any skin issue except for one, muscle atrophy, because that's everybody's, is muscle atrophy. That's all there is to it. You can't stop that, you know. And it picks it up right away. Microcurrent does. You know, so I have clients that the one in I had a client that she went through the surgery. Trauma has a lot to do also with their skin. I mean, medication, stuff like that, and they don't, and then they think they're hydrating themselves by drinking tons and tons of water. And it's like, honestly, if they drink a lot of water and they're not replenishing their electrolytes, they are actually more so dehydrating themselves. So when you hear your client says, I drink a lot of water, why are you talking about I'm dry? There you go. So I normally suggest a little bit of Himalayan salt underwater or Celtic salt, just a couple pebbles of it, and that really helps because those also hydrates in a cellular level also. So, all right, ladies, I hope I was able to deliver something today for you guys to be able to, I really
Last
appreciate it.
questions or comments for Matus before we let you guys go?
I started, this is only for attendees, a peptides and protocol chat. So we can really help each other out. And you guys can help me also because, I do have working also. So if there's something, let's just share each other's knowledge. It's a big world, and I think we succeed. It takes a village. And then if you're, I know some of you guys, most of you guys are member already of Skin Chat with Matus. That's also a good one because we'll do some announcement in there. I keep that very private. I'm not into wanting to have tons of lights and all that stuff because we really need to focus in our industry right now on helping other people because the industry has been saturated by, false stuff. And I've known a lot of people that's gotten hurt, and with some of the, DIY, yeah, DIYs. I mean, there's tons of them in there. So I think if we can, help each other out to, better each other, I think we can help so much more people. I'm there because I was supposed to retire, right? Right, Pam?
It's retirement. What's that?
So this is my retirement, you guys. So hopefully, like I said, I really, truly appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you so much, Matus, for connecting on and doing this for us today.